No, you didn't do it right. You got to hit the back porch episode 3.
What up, bro? What up, man?
There we go.
That big mic.
I know, man. We're back again.
Back,
What?
bro.
It's almost like they can't get rid of us, bro.
They can. Yeah, we're here to stay for sure.
Man, I'm excited. This is going to be a banger.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a real good one, bro. But we got to start with flowers, bro. Giving
Yes,
our
sir.
flowers.
Yeah. As y'all can see, I got this bright sweatsuit on today. My boy Cam shot it to me with no cosign. His story is really cool because he grew up playing basketball, and a lot of guys that I know that play basketball, they stay playing basketball, but Cam branched out to do something else. And it was really cool because he started this brand, this clothing, this community called No Cosign.
Yeah.
And basically the idea is that if you're going to work for something, you just work hard, do it yourself. And you don't really need anybody backing you when you believe in yourself. So, yeah, man. I'm
Shout out
rocking
Cam, bro.
Rocking the No Cosign today. It's like designer, man. This stuff is pretty.
I know the designs is crazy.
Yeah,
also,
man.
we saw you make that dude fall and hit that 3, and we also saw you punch on that dude too.
Yes, sir.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's my guy. Man.
League him, bro. That was nuts. So I just want you to know the city is watching you.
For
bro.
sure.
Yeah,
You need that 10-day.
We need that. We need it. Man, we have one too. We just want to give our flowers to JB Thomas Visual. So this episode is about manhood, and I've never felt manlier in my life than when I got engaged.
Yeah.
Come show the people.
Show the ring. Show the ring. Oh. Hey, congrats, bro. That's
Thank
big
you,
time,
bro.
big
Appreciate
time.
it. So they came and they truly, truly got us right. They came. One of the highlights of the engagement day for me is we came around the corner and we saw 2 little heads just like pop down. They were hiding, and man, they took some phenomenal photos. They took some phenomenal video. Man, they made the experience so beautiful, and I could not have asked for anything more. So we will plug them. JB Thomas Visual. It's a husband and wife duo, Bree Thomas and Justin Thomas. They're an amazing, God-fearing couple. We just wanted to give them their flowers, give them a platform. They do weddings, content creation, all types of different portfolios and stuff. So just check them out. They're amazing. We co-sign them. So yeah, for sure, man. We love y'all. Thank y'all for being a part of our day. And we're engaged. That's nuts, bro.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
So then we'll hop into our question segment. A couple weeks ago, we posted on our story some questions from the city. So we'll go into yours first. What'd you get?
So I got a question that basically wanted to know about work-life balance and how to make time for family. I could start, and then you could kind of just follow
Sounds
behind
good.
me, or we can bounce back. But I think for me, man, it's mainly about a schedule, scheduling your priorities. I don't know if you've ever seen this example, but they get this huge cup and they put big rocks in it, and then they put like a smaller marbles, and then they'll put like sand to fill it up, and then they'll put water. And it basically shows like if you can prioritize the correct way, you can fit everything into a container. And I think that's how you should like do your schedule, work life with your family. I think prioritizing your family is first because they're the most important. So if you would schedule your life like that, then you would see that you have more time for your family and things like that. That's what I think.
That's fire. I agree with that. I think scheduling is important, and I also think too having super distinct time parameters.
Right.
So like I think one of the advantages of having a traditional 9 to 5 is you have like from 9 to 5 is when I'm working,
right,
and then after at 5:01 I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm done. Mike. So if you're an entrepreneur or a leader or a thought leader or something like that, where your hours are a little bit more abstract, I think it will be wise to set time parameters so that you're not carrying it over into like the middle of the night.
Right.
And if you have clientele or something like that, I think also establishing boundaries with them. And obviously, like everybody's situation is different. Like we got some friends that are playing pro ball and like just some different stuff that changes the flow. Like it won't all look the same. But I think it's when I'm working, and when I'm not, I'm not. And I think that helps kind of with the work life. I won't say balance, but rhythm. Yeah. Kind of some seasons of life will require more of you in the work front than others. Yeah. And then we work so that we can pull our foot off the gas eventually. I'm not trying to be going crazy forever. No. I want to work forever, because that keeps you young, but I don't want to be running into the ground forever. For sure, Yeah, I think another idea too is just like being where your feet are at. Yeah. Like if you're present where you're at when you're with your family, be with your family.
when you're at work, like you should be going hard.
Yeah.
You go to the beach to play, you go to the office to work, you know, like you're
Yeah.
not going to be at the beach working in the office playing.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? So I think that's another good.
And I think that's how you keep from burning out. Like you got to give yourself, you talked about it last pod, is giving yourself moments to enjoy. Like the Lord created a lot of stuff to enjoy. Time with family, time with loved ones and stuff. Just remember, I think having regular reminders of why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When that gets convoluted or kind of just you forget that, then you get to a space where all you know is work and you're just, the goalpost is moving, you know?
For sure.
Celebrate your wins too.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Good.
Yeah. Mine was talk about the literal parts of starting a business. So
wow.
Yeah. So maybe not like filing an LLC and all that stuff, but just like a constructive roadmap to what it looks like to starting like your business.
That's so like, I feel like different businesses have different niches. Like if he would have given me like an exact business, maybe like first start out writing your business plan. I didn't do that, bro. So I
just
kinda,
freestyling,
bro. I just had an idea and went for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was also super raw, like no business school. Nobody really taught me. Didn't do much research into how to do business. I researched very well the business I was going to get into, the risk and things like that. So I think risk assessment and then some type of business plan, like what are you going to offer that's not already in the marketplace?
That's hard. I agree with that. I think something that really helped me a lot, and I'm always a fan of staying with technology and exercising your tools. So I did my research on what it would take to be able to do the pod and all that stuff, and kind of had a vision for what we were trying to grow towards, the consulting, the whole nine. And so I wrote out a business plan and then I put it in ChatGPT and said, hey, can you help me formulate time-sensitive goals so I can have a chronological roadmap to what we're trying to create.
Yeah.
And so what it said is like your first 1 to 4 months is finding your voice, which is what we're doing now. Just trying to find consistent content, you know, and then steps or month 5 to 8 or 5 to 9 is you start to create a monetizable program, something that you can push out and sell, building email lists and text lists.
Yeah.
And then months 9 through 12 is starting to get your first, second, third speaking gig. So not to say that you have to follow exactly what it says, but it was cool to see time-sensitive, actionable steps on paper. That was so raw.
For sure.
You know, I put it all in Google Docs, and I was like, okay, I can take this. I can throw this out. Yeah. And it really helped me corral what. So I think it doesn't have to be ChatGPT. It can be a mentor. It can be just you. But finding like time milestones, so it isn't open-ended.
Yeah.
And so there's something to lose.
That's
if you don't hit the goal, then you failed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think also a good thing when starting a business is to assess your exit plan before you start.
That's fire.
Yeah. I got into some stuff where I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And it's on fire and you just got to stick with it.
You just got to stick with it,
you
bro.
didn't plan to how to get out. So,
yeah. That's fire.
Yeah.
Thank y'all we're going to try to do that every episode. So appreciate y'all for the questions, man. But like we said, this episode is about manhood. That's a loaded topic. Wow. In this world today, bro.
I think I might have to put my hoodie on and cover my face for a few things I'm going to say.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll just black it out.
Come get me, bro. Oh, man, this is crazy.
So our first one, bro, I know this is loaded, but what does manhood mean to you?
For me, and I wouldn't say this is for every other guy. I think for me, manhood is, I think the way I can put it is just like fully being able to deal with reality, right?
Yeah.
There's so many things out here that you can partake in, do, or fill your time with that are escapes.
Yeah.
So manhood for me is like looking at reality face on and being like, all right, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm walking into this, I'm walking through this, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Taking that reality like every day.
Yeah, every day, consistent.
Like, yeah, and I think there's a lot of other aspects, but I think the main thing is that reality. Like, how do you deal with what you see? How do you deal with what's in front of you? And not trying to run and hide. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different emotional aspects, you know, physical aspects, and I would say even spiritual aspects that come into manhood.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
Reality.
fire. I have two, I think,
Reality, yeah.
that come to mind. Shout out Winning with the Home Team and KP and them with their pod. We talked a little bit about this. We'll plug them as well.
Yeah.
But I think not your value as a man, but a lot of your staple as a man is your ability to endure. So how much you can endure and how you endure well.
Yeah.
And there's multiple aspects to that. So like there are a lot of guys or people in the world, I should say, that can endure a lot, but then their family, their loved ones get the brunt of their endurance. So like I'm enduring all this stuff on the front end, but I'm super angry, super mad, super on the back end.
Right.
So that doesn't count. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then there are some guys who are super present and super great and super gracious at home, but you struggle when adversity comes. And that's not good either.
Yeah.
So I think that leads me into my segue of, I think trying to be most Christ was the most manly man that ever existed in life.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about our pursuit of that and pursuit of manhood, I think we got to just pursue balance. How can I balance all this stuff, like not swaying one way or the other? So I want to be tender and compassionate and emotional, but also strong, the ability to endure and like you just have to balance that.
Yeah.
And certain things will require different things of you. I've seen some of the hardest dudes fold when they have a daughter. It'll make you so just tender, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that is so cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, man. Manhood is definitely. Yeah, we need to be talking about this.
We absolutely.
Yeah, shoot me the next one, bro. Shoot me the next one.
It's how has your perspective of manhood changed over time? So you're 29 now.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
So there's a lot there. You've lived a lot of life. Walk me through the seasons of your perception of manhood.
Yeah, so I guess I would say I started thinking about manhood like maybe 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Playing sports.
Yeah.
My coaches had a lot of effect on manhood.
Absolutely.
Or what I thought manhood was.
What you think it
right?
is, yeah.
And so I had a coach named Coach Walsh. And then my two high school coaches, Brandon Bennett and then Brandon Gilbert. I could talk about all of them, bro. I got a lot of funny stuff, but mostly like being like from our demographic, being black, like I thought being a man was just being tough.
Yeah.
There were so many people that were ingraining in me, like, you got to have toughness. You got to have mental toughness. Mental toughness is cool. But I think it got to the point where I would ignore my like true emotion.
Yeah.
You know, playing basketball, you got people saying some outlandish things.
Crazy
you know what I'm
stuff,
saying?
yeah.
Probably the same in baseball, right? Like, I mean, you're trying to play and the trash talk and then the coach talk. And it's like, yeah, so I thought it was just being super tough, like not letting anything bother you, like being kind of invincible. Like, and then I kind of saw like when I got married how that's not good.
No.
Like the first year of my marriage, you can ask my wife, shout out Tay, but I'm sure it's pretty tough because I'm coming in just like I said, reality, like that's what I'm giving to her.
Yeah.
Like no filter, no like gentleness, just like here's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And here's what you're doing, good or bad. And it's just like, bro, shrewd, just cutting her. And so I figured out like, okay, this is not, manhood isn't, you know, just being the toughest guy in the room or just, I feel like like you said, you've got to balance like the emotional side, the spiritual side, the physical side, to just now feeling like manhood is it's a lot different than just the tough guy, right?
And
like,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different aspects to it. And just a moment of like vulnerability. This is real rap. I think Hannah and I, the first year really of us dating was us figuring that out. The amount of times that she told me like, I need you to tell me how you're feeling. Yeah. And there were some times where I was like resisting it intentionally. Like, no, I'm not going. And then there are other times where I just like did not know how or what to say. Yeah. And I think that was pretty sobering because realizing nothing will sober you up more than the negative effects that your actions have on your woman. Or it should. Yeah. At least if you're locked in at all, it should be like one of the most like,
and
just
hopefully
like,
it doesn't get to your kids, you know? Like,
I know.
So yeah, just I think that's probably a big reason why God gave women to men, and they're wired so differently, because I've got to learn how to be tender, gentle, you know. Yeah. kind-hearted and just handle something with so much care.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise our relationships would be extremely brashful. Just like, we're playing sports, talking trash, like
talking crazy.
Some
of the stuff that I've said, bro, I'm like, well, I reflect on, like, bro,
there's no way.
No way. I was out there talking mad.
Yeah, bro. So I think for me, like my woman has helped me become more aware of like, wait, these emotions are things that I need to handle. These are things that I need to feel, even though if I don't want to feel like I had to sit down and just get a chance to be like sad.
Yeah.
Or just like cry sometimes.
For sure.
Like I was not doing that at 16.
No.
Like I'm just the toughest guy in the world. Nothing bothers me. I'm not stressed. Like, and you'll see it just build up. And I never really lashed out, but just looking back at it, like you just feel these emotions that you're not being able to express with anyone.
No, I used to. I think something Hannah truly has really helped me with, especially how gracious and amazing she's been during this season of like transition for me, is I feel like men coming from athletic backgrounds and just what we observe, like my dad's military.
Yeah.
You're competing with every other man.
Yeah.
So it's like it's who's better. Like, so we come from a background of who's faster, who's stronger, who's better. And you have statistical evidence to prove like I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And you eat off of who's better.
For sure.
There are no moral victories in sports. So then you transition out and you're like, the real world does not operate like that. Like, why am I comparing myself and what I have and what I do? And why am I coveting what another man has?
Right.
When my woman loves me for what I've presented to her today. And I think of course it's ebbs and flows, it's valleys and mountaintops, but that's a process for me is like, you are you and she loves you for you. And I think it helps the man kind of just come down off of the horse. Yeah. There's nothing to prove. Yeah. And even the most meek of men, you don't want to get shown up by another man. Yeah. So I'm finna show you. You know what I'm saying? For sure, and so that has just been so just, I think healing is the word.
Yeah. That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
Like digging up all those suppressed emotions after all the years of really toxic masculinity, bro. Like our elders showing us like, nah, you can't be like that, bro.
You know?
Because I thought showing emotion was weakness.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I understood like being vulnerable is actually a way to relate to people.
Yeah.
That really helped me like with my emotional intelligence and learning, wait, this is a part of being a man.
Yeah.
That rah tough guy stuff is actually probably a defense mechanism because you don't want somebody to know truly how you feel. And it's fear. You're scared to allow somebody in because of maybe something you experienced or whatever the case may be. But I can definitely resonate with that.
I think it's similar to like there are a plethora of people in the world who fill up their calendar to feel like they're useful.
You feel me?
So I have a whole bunch of stuff on my calendar, but a whole bunch of nothing. Similarly, like I'm this guy who I'm lifting super hard. I'm eating the steak, the avocado, the berries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm clean cut. I'm nice. I got a Hellcat. I'm doing the whole thing. You're doing all this extra stuff, a whole bunch of nothing to run away from true healing.
Right.
All that stuff is great.
It's cool.
Hellcats are cool.
Yeah.
I love steak. But like that can't be a substitute.
Yeah.
Or like it can't be a supplement for true healing. You know what I mean?
For like dealing with reality.
You know
what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I think, man, when we talk about manhood, we got to talk about dealing with reality. We got to talk about emotions, your true feelings, and how to navigate those things.
Yeah, absolutely. That leads into the next one, man. It says, in what ways does mainstream media shape our understanding of what it means to be a man?
Oh, bro, that's, we could stay here for a minute.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
I think... Here's what I think, bro. I think they're selling us a plan, right? You scroll on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, social media, and they're selling you something. The question is, like, are you buying that? And I think as a society right now, we're buying it, right?
Bro.
But yeah, I think on social media, manhood, I don't want to drop anybody's names, but it's like this super tough guy who works out every day and nothing bothers him. And he's gonna protect. He's gonna fight. Like, and I think manhood these days has a lot to do with money, right? Yeah. How are you a man with no money? You can't be broke. Yeah. Like, there's a lot in mainstream media that says, You know, as a woman, I'm not treating my man with respect unless he gets money.
And as he makes like an exuberant amount,
bro. And if the man isn't making more money than me, he doesn't deserve respect either. Society is selling us that.
Yeah.
The effects of that are very damaging, bro. Because now I walk out into the world and my whole identity is how much money I make, because I know I'm not going to get treated with respect, or I won't be able to do this or that and the third if I don't make this much money.
There are some great men and women in this world, some pure souls, and some really sweet people who just fell victim to what people were buying or selling online. And so I feel like a lot of these people and their paradigms and the way that they view the world is it's not even you, bro. You weren't born like that. You just consumed so much media to try to supplement pain points in your life already that it became your reality. Yeah,
that's crazy. I think another thing somebody's tried to sell me before, and this one, it sounds good, but it's just not, is that whole happy wife, happy life thing. That's on discount. They're trying to sell that one quick for free. You know what I'm saying? The reason why that's not good is because you will become such a passive guy if you're just worrying about if your wife is happy or not, or if your girlfriend is happy or not. You can't lead towards goals worrying about who's happy and who's, you know what I'm saying?
And there's a difference between happiness and honor.
Right.
I can honor you and honor what you're doing and honor what you're saying. And that may not always make you happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think that going to the gym is a good example of life. Like, there's going to be times where you're lifting stuff you don't want to lift. You're doing stuff in there that's really hard. And then after you're sore, but you're doing that to obtain a certain goal, you know what I'm saying? And I think the same way, like in manhood, bro, like the way that you lead, there's going to be some hard things you have to do. Maybe it doesn't feel good after, you know, but at the end of the day, like you're headed to a certain destination.
For sure. And
I think, society sells us a version of manhood that you are the destination. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not heading towards somewhere, like you are that thing. Yeah. And so, just being a man is being super arrogant online. I'm rich,
brash,
you know
abrasive.
What I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm just out here cutting people to the core. Yeah. And I think that's what they're selling us. What would you say?
Man, just one point before I step into that too. That is a two-way street in terms of things that you'll have to do that may not necessarily make your partner happy. Yeah. That Hannah has honored me in that way. You know what I mean? By telling me something that I necessarily didn't want to hear. Yeah. But I reflect on it, but I really needed it. So I was mad in the moment because it wasn't super like what I wanted to hear. But it's like, okay, this is what, and that's the highest form of honor is disagreement. I think, especially when it comes to like the happy wife, happy husband type of thing. Like being able to stand on something that I truly, and Hannah will do that. She'll say, I do not agree with you.
Yeah. That's good. You need that, bro.
And I think what media is selling us to is this Superman type of complex. So you got to be tall and handsome and wide shoulders. You got to make $300,000-$400,000 a year, but you also got to work at home so that you can take care of your kids.
You feel me?
You got to be super, super tender and super compassionate, but also know Brazilian jiu-jitsu and shoot guns. Yeah. Like it's like this, I think personally, it's this image of this perfect man that is keeping a lot of men and women insecure. Yeah. It highlights what you're not so that you forget what you are. Yeah. And so we're stepping into these relationships really insecure about what we are not. And so then you can't highlight, you can't represent well, and the people that you're around can't feel and hear the good things that are about you.
Yeah, that's good.
And that is tough, bro. All the clips online are just about like alpha male complex and the whole thing. And I got to be the leader of the room and I got to do all this stuff and I got to make all this money. But it's like, if it was really a true remedy, you could watch one or two videos and then never watch it again. Yeah. I think what people forget is you have to continuously consume this content to feel what it elicits in you. Yeah. So it's not true healing.
That's good.
It's Tylenol. It's just pain relief.
Yeah. Masking it. Yeah, bro. So I think that's what That's what they're selling us, man.
And we are just buying it,
buying it
bro.
up.
Being with the like being around kids, bro,
Mm-hmm.
is so disheartening.
Yeah.
Like not like Shep's generation, but the one after, or
the high school,
the high school
teenagers.
Yeah. Their whole perception of which there's a lot of stuff fighted with that. Like dads are absent and stuff, and coaches are repeating things that they just like found on social media. It's just like, dude, they are so damaged, but they're searching, they're looking. So we're in like the opportunity window now where like, bro, we gotta meet them with the mentorship. We gotta just be available so that they can ask questions and show them that there's a better way. Like getting married is dope. There's an attack on marriage like in the world right now. Now, granted, do it correctly and results may vary. I can't guarantee, but like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like I got a freaking phenomenal one. So like results may vary, but like just the attack on just that's traditional, like just cool stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that's a gift. Next one, bro. This one's a interesting. How do you navigate the balance between vulnerability and strength as a man?
Know when.
Yeah, when and how. Yeah.
I don't have another answer besides discernment, bro. I think if you go into a certain situation and you're vulnerable, like you might get chopped up, bro. Yeah. And if you go into one where you're trying to be super strong and that's not like read the room, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I don't. You're gonna hurt people that are tender, or you're gonna go into a room where there's sharks and you're gonna get eaten up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think to balance that is just like knowing the space you're in. Like I talked about this last time. Like you don't need to be vulnerable on Facebook, bro. Like don't do that. Like, but if you have a group of guys that you can call, like you have to be vulnerable with somebody. Yeah. You can't just be out here never telling anybody how you feel about anything. And then calling that strength. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's not being strong. That's being unwise. Because you can't, I mean, Jesus had people that he sat with, right? And told them how he felt. So I don't know why you're going to walk around trying to handle all that yourself. Dolo. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's kind of the balance. I think the true word though is discernment. Like you got to walk with somebody outside of yourself that gives you some sort of insight.
We talked about that the last pod, you know how important that is, bro.
Yeah. Insight into the situation. Because if I'm going to a negotiation table, like I could be strong in there, or it might work if I'm more vulnerable to get the deal done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just depends, bro.
For sure. Yeah. I think this is a huge segment for us to tap on community and what that will do to a man. And my first challenge to all men out there, bro, is you cannot have a community full of yes men, bro. Yeah. You gotta have a community full of dogs, bro. And people being better than you in certain aspects is not a threat.
No. You should say that again.
Bro, people being better than you in certain aspects is not a threat, especially people that are really close to you. Yeah. The amount of stuff, just to give you your flowers, like, bro, the amount of stuff I've learned from you spiritually, financially, the whole thing, just in our 4 or 5 years of friendship, bro.
Vice versa, bro.
Bro, it's like if I wouldn't have had somebody that I view as better in a lot of these ways and have a lot of respect for, and just had people that were homogenous just like me, it's going to be a bunch of bad ideas just circulating. Right. You know, you need difference of opinions. You need like real, true people to walk with you. I went to, shout out Harrison, went to get cigars with one of my mans, whatever. And he's like, when we're talking about just like weddings and stuff like that. And he said, when I ask you to, when I ask you or somebody asked me to be a groomsman in my wedding, I think people take that too lightly. Yeah. And he's like, what I'm telling you, or what you're telling me, is that you're giving me the green light to be able to come and yank you out your house and your wife if both of y'all are wilding. Like, you're welcoming me in to walk along your marriage, not to just stand up there and take pictures. He said, I look good. I already know I look good. Yeah. And you're paying for pictures of me. He's funny, bro. You gotta be here. But what he was getting at is like, bro, all of this wedding stuff, all that stuff is great. Bachelor party is amazing. But like, you're telling me that you have the green light to come and hold me accountable, truly accountable. Yeah. And he just gave some stories about where like he really needed that. And I have so much admiration for giving somebody the green light to be truly like communal. Can we be truly vulnerable with these people? Now, we all travel as a pack, as a group. We understand that the world, like, it's not sweet out there. You know, you said in a previous pod, like, love isn't in the marketplace.
Yeah.
That's at home for me.
Yeah.
So then you go out in the world expecting it, that's a problem. But if you got 4 or 5 guys that I know that I can call on at any time, so that I can be vulnerable with, but also will say, hey, bro, you're wilding.
Right.
You're already way beyond the curve.
For sure. And I think you said something that was good. Like, in order to do that, you have to walk in a certain confidence enough to know that somebody having a higher skill set than you is not your competition all the time.
No.
Sports don't always teach us that, bro. I know some guys that will have a dude on their team that can get 25 and they'll just ice them out so they can shine. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, pass the ball.
We're trying to win.
Yeah. And if you're on my team, if you're willing to help me, like, I got to stop comparing myself to you and just receive the wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, we're not always in competition, bro. And I feel like as a man, that's something else that they're selling. Like, you're in competition with all these other people, no matter if they're nice to you, not nice to you, you know what I'm saying? And if you would compare yourself with who you were yesterday instead of Tom.
You got to say that again, bro.
If you would compare yourself with who you were yesterday instead of trying to compare yourself to your peers, then you might actually see some progress.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can learn from your peers. You can grow from your peers instead of, oh, man, he's got this or he's got that.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you're missing it, bro. You know?
And I know people have been through different things. And I totally empathize with sympathize rather with like relationships with fathers not being dialed in or like abusive manhood, like figures, abusive coaches, this and the third. But like a huge step in your manhood is realizing you don't have anything to prove to them.
That's good. Nothing to prove.
You have nothing to prove to them.
Yeah.
Now I got something to prove and you have something to prove to yourself. You know what I mean? That I am who I think I am. But you don't have anything to prove to them. Yeah. And that is what I would tell all my young bulls and guys that are older guys, bro. Like, you got to step out from underneath that shadow, bro. You have nothing to prove.
I feel like, bro, if you can't reach the goals you've set without the perception of other people, you need to realign your goals.
Reevaluate.
Because what are you doing it for?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So
you're going to get to the mountaintop or you won't. But let's say you do. Then you get there and it's like, I didn't even want this I was trying to be at that mountain over there.
They're not even watching you no more, bro.
No, they're turned around.
This whole thing to impress who's on the ground.
And they don't care.
At all, bro. So, yeah, man, I think those are some really good points and keys on just what it means, what it looks like.
This is a banger, too. It says, how do you handle failure and setbacks in a way that aligns with your idea of manhood?
That's good. So I have a philosophy here. I think failure is only failure with a certain perspective, right? You can look at a situation that you quote unquote failed in, you know what I'm saying? And you can change your perspective around it and see it as growth. You only fail when you quit. Yeah. Because if I'm trying to start a business or let's just say I'm working out and I'm trying to be able to hit a goal, run a marathon, right? Maybe I set out to run 12 miles and I only got to 6. Yeah. Well, I failed that day. Well, you didn't fail. You just, now you understand where your limits are and where you need to grow from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, failing is such a when do you fail? Like if you could ask yourself that, like, what does failure mean? I think you should pursue that. You know, that thing that you're saying is failure. Yeah. Because 1, you'll become more familiar with it and the feeling won't be so bad. No. And 2, like, you'll know like where your limits are and where you need to grow. Like, that's how I think I kind of, the lens that I see.
This is my first, forgive me. This is my first time where we might get canceled for what I'm about to say.
Yeah. Talk to him.
I think, truth be told, that all boys should play some capacity of sports.
Why do you say that?
You don't have to be good. You don't have to like it. Yeah. But some of the stuff that sports taught me in terms of dealing with adversity and failure and relentless and fulfilling my commitment. Bro, I got a story. I played for a team when I was in high school. I'll never forget this. I was just butting heads with this coach. I was like, Dad, like, he's treating me in this and way. And my dad was like, I see you, son, but you got to rock.
Yeah.
And there was this one game that I'll never forget where I'm in the huddle. I'd had a really good game, but we lost. And he called me out, even though I went 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles and name dropped me in the thing.
Dang.
So, like, I'm probably 14 or 15, you know, too old to be weeping, but, like, I got tears in my eyes going to my dad.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. He said, you're going to finish your commitment, but after that's done, like, you can leave. But you're going to finish your commitment.
Yeah, that's good.
And I just thank him for making me do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You learn how to work with and deal with people who you don't like. You know what I mean? How do you honor them even though I don't necessarily like you? You know?
Yeah.
How do you deal with hard stuff and how do you communicate? Well, how do you take coaching? How do you take communication that's not necessarily like yours? How do you deal with trash talk? How do you deal with people who are not believers?
Right.
Some of those people are operating with no rules. So they're saying crazy stuff to you.
Right.
So how do you keep composed? I think the framework and the foundation for a lot of dealing with adversity is you have to play something.
Yeah.
I don't really care what it is.
Yeah.
And Hannah and I talk about this. I think it should be a team sport.
Yeah, team sport for sure.
That isn't like you can't rely on you. Fighting, golf, all that stuff is amazing, but it's like just you.
Versus you.
Yeah. But basketball, football, baseball, soccer, something where like the team's performance is not totally reliant on what you do. I think is so development. Like, I think that all kids should.
For sure. I have a story, bro. I'm going to share it because you talked about failure. There was a time I was a senior in high school. We're lacing up versus Norman North. And I don't know if y'all know, but that's where Trae Young went to school, right? So he's a freshman. And
did not know that.
Yeah, bro. So
you played him?
Yeah, bro.
You live to tell the story.
Yeah. So
shout out Trae Young.
Yeah,
we need that cosign,
bro. We're playing against. He's a freshman, right? Nobody knows him.
He was like scrawny too.
Bro,
some of his mixtapes. I'm like, who is that? Yeah.
And we're seniors. We're like number 2 team in the state. Like arrogant, walking around. Like this is a scrimmage, bro. We're not about to lose. We didn't lose. One of my boys is the best defender. One of the best defenders on the team. And because of the situation, like he's just one-on-one guarding Trae Young. Like we don't know.
You're on an island with Trae.
Yeah.
Young.
And
sorry, bro.
yeah,
that's tough.
He had about 40. We won the game, but I think sports will quickly humble you and show you like, oh, like you thought you were the only one that did this for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, just those stories of like, I also played against De'Aaron Fox, and my coach is screaming, pick him up man to man full court, and it's like, what do you?
You're not out here.
Like, come on, bro. Like this guy's like, he's doing the same stuff in high school that he does in the NBA.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to like. So what I'm saying that to say, like, there's some challenges that you're just going to fail at.
Yeah.
That you don't have the capacity to stand in front and get it done. So it shows you early in life, like, how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, do I put my identity on the line because I couldn't stop Trae Young from getting 40 when he gets 50 against the Knicks?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Proficiency is not always the goal.
No.
Sometimes you got to put yourself, and we have to put our children in situations to fail and knowing you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I think as dads, my dad knew, like, we rolled out against some teams, and, like, he's probably like, man, bro.
Yeah. You can tell in warm-ups, bro.
Bro, they're different. It's just not in your bag, and that's cool. But you're gonna roll out there.
Yeah,
and you're gonna try at least
for sure. I think that's good in everything besides football. Football, you might lose your life.
You might, now, especially out in Texas. Yeah. This was in a different part of the country. Texas, you can't be playing with that. But like, yeah. I think sports is so foundational and what it means. Like a lot of the character stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
Even in some of the interviews that I've had recently, it's like, my brain is so wired for sports analogies. You know, panel I spoke on recently, like my brain literally just defaults to these sport, like so much of what we learned and so much what like curated that dog is competing at super high levels.
Right.
And competing against people who are at higher level. Like I've seen some guys, I'm like, bro, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah.
Ever. There's no amount of training. There's no, like, it looks different when the Lord ordained it.
Yeah.
And I played against some dudes that's like, bro, you're Cam.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bro, some of his clips, I'm like, there's no way I could train to be able to do.
It's not you.
It's
and that's
not.
okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think being able to deal with failure is recognizing that there's some things that I can do and there's some things that I can't do.
Yeah.
And if I spend all my time, my junior college coach used to always say, let's make your weaknesses serviceable and your strengths exemplary.
Yeah.
And that'll get you like far.
Where you need to
wherever
be.
you need to be.
In any aspect of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Our next one is how does manhood affect the way men communicate in friends, romantic relationships, and family? And what does it mean to be a good partner or father in today's world?
Okay, let's talk about the communication piece first. You can tell a lot about a man. You can tell a lot about a guy by what comes out of his mouth, right? And I think if anybody's watching this as a man, like we're all laughing because there's that one guy, right?
Yeah, there's somebody that comes to mind.
You know what I'm
God
saying?
bless them. We're praying for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, yeah, bro, I can walk up to somebody and start communicating with them. And this is not passing judgment in any way, but like we've talked to so many different men and it's like, oh, you're this type of guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's some guys that you meet them right off the rip and they want to start accomplishments and name dropping. And it's like,
who I know.
Yeah.
That blows me, bro. Like, I know, Bro, we're talking about who won on Sunday.
You know what I'm saying? I was at the gym the other day and this dude came up to me and was just like, bro, I could have told you about the Luka trade like 6 months ago. I was in the gym with Nico and I seen Luka and this and that. And it's almost like he was saying that to validate some sort of worth in himself.
So you know what's absolutely crazy about that, bro, is I did not ask you.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that doesn't, in my eyes, that doesn't make you more of a man or more valuable because you know somebody who plays in the NBA.
I don't respect you more or less because of what you acquire. I respect you at the max level because it's like what we
That's
do.
what I do, right? Because God made you, right?
Yes.
So I feel like there's that type of guy. And I think there's also men that are like, you speak to them and you already see like that's insecurity, bro. Like you won't look at me in the face, you know, like your eyes are wandering somewhere else. Or there's other guys you talk to and they just agree with everything you say.
Agreement. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. Like the guy that I think I'd want on my team is the one who doesn't say too much. Yeah. Like you can ask him and he'll be straight up with you, but I don't know, man. Like offering a lot of information off the rip is like that something's, you know what I'm saying? Like something's just like, I don't know. Maybe you don't have as much experience with me in the world. Yeah. But like for the pod's sake, like I'm not going to meet you once and we're friends. Yeah. Like as a man, maybe that's my experience. Yeah. I know how stuff goes out here. So it's a little bit more like, I guess a level of discernment that I'm trying to have when I'm communicating with
and you got to protect what's close to you too.
Yeah.
Bro, we're going to clip this for sure. How you communicate well in your relationships and all that stuff. Yeah. Is you got to know when to say nothing. Yeah. We don't always have to say something, bro. Yeah. Not everything warrants a response. No. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's quiet in the world and we just need to let it stay quiet. Yeah. Like we don't have to say anything. That's game changing when it comes to communicating and stuff. Sometimes the play is to say nothing. Right. Let it ride and let it transpire. Observe and see. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you'll get a feel, you'll discern when it's time to say something. Right. But I'm coming off top. I want to get the first and last word, bro. Relax. Yeah. Relax.
Because that communicates something as well.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's going to be okay, bro. It's going to be okay. I also think too, for me, like as well in my current walk today, this is real rap. It's just like learning how to apologize well. Like I didn't know that the way that I was apologizing was offensive to people.
What do you mean?
That's a new development. Just like even the way that I worded stuff. Okay. And so learning how to apologize in a way that honors the person is something that I think will take the next step to. And I'm learning that like as of today. It's just like apologizing well, honoring people in the way that they feel and what you did to make them feel that way. Yeah, yeah. I'm learning that in my current walk in manhood. Yeah.
That's good, bro. That's good. Yeah, so that's communicating. What was the back end of the question though?
It says, what does it mean to be a good partner or father in today's world?
Yeah, I think to be a good partner, one, you truly have to want the best for your significant other, right? Same with your kids. If you have to truly want the best for them, and I don't think we struggle there. I think where we struggle is um, maybe implementing hard things so that they can become the most freest version of themselves.
One of the hardest things I ever seen you do with my own eyes was we went to the streets with
Yeah.
Human Impact.
Yeah.
And Shep did not want to jump off of the thing,
Off
the
curb.
little curb
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And you were like, no, just let him rock out. And I watched you with my eyes put Shep in a hard situation for him that like he wasn't in any real danger.
Yeah.
But like putting him in a situation where either you're going to have to jump or you're going to have to figure out another way. And he opted to figure out another way, which is equally as dope.
Yeah.
But I saw you put him in positions where it's like, okay, I can do this or I can't, and I'm going to think through.
Yeah.
That was so tough, bro.
For sure. And I think if I would have walked over there and picked him up, I'm teaching him something.
Yeah.
Like,
that you'll always be there to be able to say.
Right. And I don't want to instill that. Like, you figure it out. When you're at your wit's end, call me and I'll help you figure it out. I'm not going to come do it for you, though.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So,
and that should be that should be my last. My dad is like my last call.
yeah.
If I'm doing something or I'm building something or I'm like going through something, I'm like, all right, I'm rocking out. And I haven't decided yet whether this is good or bad. But I'm going to try to exhaust all my options before I call him.
I don't think it's bad, bro. It creates a version of self-sufficiency. Like, because one day, guess what? You're not going to be able to call your dad.
Yeah.
And one day you're going to be alone and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think that might be what this generation is missing in manhood. We've got so many different like outlets and people telling us things in so many ways to reach back. Yeah, it's a generational thing, but I think our parents wanted so much for us to have the things that they didn't, that they overgave and put stuff on a platter. So now when it's not on a platter, I feel like I'm deserving of my stuff to be on a platter.
Yeah.
I'm entitled for that. And so now I lost the ability to be self-sufficient, work hard, do things on my own. And they'll say it's laziness. It might not be laziness. It might be anxiety because it's not on a platter.
It's always been here.
Yeah, you always gave it to me like this.
So now you're expecting me to know.
Yeah, so how in the world am I 18 and I'm just going to all of a sudden start working for it?
I've never had a job. I've never had to genuinely learn anything. I've never had to work hard at anything
because
it's been here.
As soon as I opened my mouth, you gave it to me because you wanted me to experience. And then they looked down and it was like, why don't you want to work?
Yeah.
Well,
I've never had to do it before.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Try to start with Shep. Like, yo, I know you're crying. And I know for us, it like took 10 minutes extra to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you either jump or you figure out a different way. I'm not going to come and pick you up.
That was dope for, I think, as a man who's premarital and with no kids yet, to see that in practice though.
Yeah.
Like that was so dope. I observed that, like that 10 minutes was profound because I got to watch Shep grow in that moment and think through that.
Yeah.
Because it was a position where I either have to jump or I'm gonna have to find another way or we're gonna just stay here.
Yeah, and he wasn't staying there. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, come on. Yeah.
And 10 minutes to him probably felt like an
Eternity,
hour.
right? Yeah.
Right. So like I just saw, and that leads into the final question. It's just, in what ways do you think society needs to change its approach to teaching boys what it means to be a man? That was our last one.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of talking about that right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think, what I just said about the generational, the way that I feel like I've done a little bit of research, not much, so I could be wrong here, but the baby booming generation lived through the Great Depression, right? So their signs are, there's a word I'm thinking of, bro, my bad. Signals or whatever. Their way to view success was a good job in home ownership.
Yes.
Because I came from a place where it was scarce for me when I was growing up. So for me to hold this good job and have this home means like I own it.
And it was scarce for everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody was safe.
Right. So then that generation raised our parents.
Yeah.
That are now like coming from this like, bro, you need to have a savings account. You need to own a home. You need to have a good job.
Yeah.
And so they didn't shower them with the things maybe they wanted. My dad tells me a story about how when he was growing up, he wanted all like the colors of shoes and things like that. And his mom bought him one pair of shoes. because she came from this scarce background.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna spend money on getting you all these shoes that match your outfit with all these different colors, because just in case it goes back to that, right? And so generationally, like now my dad, bro, you go into his closet, bro, like anything you could think of, it's in there. That's besides the point. I think then he raised me, and he knew how it was for him being a child and not being able to get all those shoes, right?
Yeah.
So he says, hey man, get good grades, play sports, do good, and I got you with anything you want.
Yeah.
Which in turn for me, like, bro, there was a time when I was in 8th grade. I don't think I've ever told you this, bro. I had a whole semester of school, dog, and my parents would take me to go get new clothes so I don't have to wear the same thing. Type thing. Like,
yeah.
So I'm how long is a semester? Like
16 weeks.
16 weeks
Yeah.
of outfits that, like, mom, like literally the conversation is, mom, like, I don't have anything to wear to school tomorrow that's new.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you can go get it. And so for me, like, what it could have done was create a certain sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
But I, praise the Lord, have been through some things that have shown me life is not that way, right? And so what I'm saying is, for my generation, is that, like, we have felt this sense of entitlement in the generation under us, not quite that we're raising, but Gen Z, is like hyper social media, right? So hyper criticized, like everybody's opinion is hitting them. And the way that it affects all of us are different because of the line, like the generational thing. But I say all that to say, I feel like for the next generation, bro, we have to teach young men, one, like, your feelings are good. Like, in that Gen Z, bro, they feel. Yeah. They know that their feelings,
feel deeply. They know. Yeah.
Yeah, their feelings are their compass, like their moral compass.
Yeah.
And your feelings are okay, but you have to have some objective reality that you can pair with those things, so that when you're making decisions, you're making good decisions.
For sure.
Because, right, like, if I want to reach a goal, it's not always going to feel good.
No.
And you not feeling good is not an indicator that you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to instill that, like, like, just because this doesn't feel good doesn't mean it's wrong. It's okay. It's like good. Some things aren't supposed to feel good,
for sure,
but they're for your development.
Absolutely.
So just instilling doing the hard things, even though they don't feel good. And also, like, I would say through my research, it's shown that Gen Z, like, they love doing things that makes them like feel morally good. Like, they want jobs that they have moral impact.
Yes.
They don't want to just be doing nothing for no reason.
Exactly.
So keep those things. Like, keep doing that. But we got to create young men that aren't scared of doing things that are hard.
Yeah.
Making good moral decisions that, may come with a sacrifice.
Yeah.
We can't take the hardship away from a generation and then expect them to work hard and go
and just
hard.
Get it. Yeah. At the end.
Yeah. Like, if you take away work from someone, then their, like, existence is like
pleasure.
Yeah. And so that's what I think life should be.
And I think, like, too, in the grand scope of things, we're in an age where we can say what we want about social media, and I have my opinions on it. I think it's done some pretty horrible things, but on the flip side of that too, we have more access to more information than we ever have in the world.
Yeah.
From parenting, from child development, for the whole thing. So when you know better, you do better.
Right.
And so we're at a point in our life right now where if we as parents are not doing our research and trying to connect with other parents and do our whole things to try to do better and provide, then that's now on you.
Yeah.
You've had access to this information, and, like, there's all of this that's in the world. So if you choose to repeat the negative stuff that you experienced as a kid, that's now you're accountable for that.
Yeah.
You know better, you do better.
For sure.
And I think that's
and also don't overcompensate, right? So like, if you didn't get something when you were younger, don't swing all the way the other way.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay for your kid to get a job, pay minimum wage to go buy the stuff he wants.
The 05 Honda Accord, bro,
That's
it'll
fine.
run. It's fine.
That's good for you. Because how you going to appreciate a car when the first one you got was a Benz?
Bro, you need the hoopty.
Yeah,
you need it, bro. Some of my fondest memories are in the 01 Celica with the 12 sub in the back, bro.
And that joint needs to break down sometimes.
Yeah. Can hear me coming up, bro. But, man, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt you to be stuck on the side of the road a few times.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you can learn how to change
Fix
a
it.
tire. Yeah.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
get in
think-
trouble, bro. Get in a little bit of trouble.
For sure.
Don't OD now. But like, you know what I'm saying? Get in a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Create some hardship for the next generation to like fight through, bro. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Bro. Man, this was a good one, bro.
For
Episode
sure.
3. We're
For
in the
sure.
we're in the thick of it now, bro.
Yeah, man. Episode 3 is crazy.
We appreciate y'all, bro. We're gonna hit y'all with the like and subscribe. You know the vibes is.
Yeah, bro.
You know
The back porch.
the
pod.
back porch, bro. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
One love.